finally did it. We've been talking about doing this for a long time.
Yeah, no, man.
Mr. Sean Dominic, how are we doing today?
Good, brother. I'm good, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I know. How have you been surviving the pandemic?
Man, this is my second year? Almost full second year in Cali. Man, just getting outside, trying to work out, bike ride.
Yeah.
Luckily, blessed to work, so
Yeah, so you're
um
still working. So if no, for those of you who don't know, the casual observer, well, first off, you're one of my least good-looking friends. It's a shame that you have to walk around like that. And incredible actor, Mr. Sean, but you're also Dr. Nate Hastings on Young and the Restless.
yes,
And
sir.
we're gonna get into all that good stuff. But you still have a job. You're still working, right?
Yeah, we took off from March until end of July, and then we started back in August.
Got you. So how did you even get into the world of acting? We'll go through all of the Y and R stuff, which you probably never imagined that you'd end up on a soap opera,
Nah,
especially one that's been running for decades long. But like, what first got you the
yeah.
bug in the business? Like, what got you in?
Um, I loved entertainment from being a kid, watching TV and film, um, people like Eddie Murphy and um, uh, Denzel and Sam Jackson, and just seeing these guys, I don't know, like I danced, sang, I was in plays, played a couple instruments. Um, I just did all forms of entertainment, not necessarily knowing what I really wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think me being a military brat, I traveled around a lot. So traveling around, I always tried something new because I guess it was a new place. So let me try something different. So I never really got great at anything, but I could do a lot.
I, I feel you on that one.
You know what I mean?
No, but I think a lot of people that's a skill that a lot of people don't have is because you're usually caught up by fear or whatever.
Mhm.
To like for me, like I've had multiple different careers just because I've been like, all right, I guess I'll try this thing. That seems cool. I guess I'll try that thing. So I love that you have that in you, and you were
Mhm.
raised by a single mom though, and a single Air
Mhm.
Force mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's like being a single mom. I can only imagine. But then being a single mom in the
Yeah.
military, also
Yeah.
raising you. That's
Yeah, I got a couple friends who are like, man, I don't know how your mom did it. Like who have, both parents. Um, because she had three boys. My mother had three boys and worked, and we all ended up doing something in life. You know what I
that's
mean?
that's
Like
amazing.
us three, where we are now isn't supposed to happen, I guess. But she was a solid rock. But we had, in the summers, I would spend time with my grandparents down in the South, Virginia, North Carolina area. So I had a lot of family that helped out with raising us as well. So I know about the switches. Go grab a switch off the tree, pull
Southern
off the
life.
leaves. That southern hospitality.
Where did you spend most of your life growing up? Was it? I mean, yeah, you bounced around, but was there a place that you spent more time than others?
Living with my mom, the longest place we lived was Delaware, Dover, Delaware,
Wow, probably like
Dover Air Force Base.
okay,
We didn't live
gotcha.
on the base, but that's where she was stationed.
What was it like to be a young boy growing up in Dover, Delaware? It seems like it'd be pretty boring. I don't know anything about Delaware, but I don't know.
On paper, it sounds boring, but this is Delaware, one of the smallest states. I don't know if it's between that and Rhode Island, I think.
Yeah.
But you've got Dover. We were 45 minutes from Philly. We were a little over an hour away from DC, Maryland, uh, somewhere in that vicinity of Jersey, and about 3 hours, 3.5 hours away from New York. So once I was able to drive, I had all these connections. You know what I mean?
So it's like a little
So
hub in the middle of
a little
everything.
hub, little hub. Yep. Yep. It was nice, man. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it.
So is that when you started getting more into acting when you were in Dover because you could escape to the city, or how did that work out?
Nah, yo, it's I don't know how to answer that question, right? I loved acting and I always thought I would be an actor. I went to Delaware State University, historical black college, and it's like in Dover. Didn't graduate, but I went there for 2 semesters and I took theater courses with this teacher, Dr. Kenyatta, and started modeling, man. Moved to Atlanta, modeled for a while. Always wanted to get in acting, didn't necessarily know how to get into it,
Hmm.
you know. Um, I don't know if it was I don't know if it was fear or just not comprehending it because I didn't want to major in theater. To me, for me at least, it kind of made no sense. And then it took me later in life to find out like a lot of great actors got like went to like Juilliard and Yale and stuff. So I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know that at the time. But I modeled for a while. Then I pretty much 90% stopped and then started bartending at a comedy club in New York on the Upper West Side.
Where was it?
78th and Broadway,
Okay.
called Stand Up NY. And I was there for about 5 years. And there is where I learned the hustle game. Comedians coming in every night who couldn't get up on the stage,
Right.
but they knew they had to be there. And a lot of those comedians today are doing a damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was working there. And I'll say a name people might know. I knew Michelle Wolf
Oh yeah.
before she's Michelle Wolf.
Yeah.
I knew Michael Che when he was in the beginning stages of SNL.
Damn.
Um, um, Jay Farrow. I knew him being on SNL, but all these cats with Jay Farrow will constantly come in and get up on stage and put in that work while making money on SNL.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a really interesting experience, man, to see the hustle. I needed to see something. I think that's what I needed. And once I saw that, that's why I turned the hustle game on in acting. And I think I've been going at acting for about 5, 6 years now.
See, it's so funny. I was going to ask
Hardcore.
you. I was going to ask you about that because there is, and it's funny that you mentioned comedians because they have one of the most insane work ethics, and it's lots of
Yep.
grinding, and it's lots. And no matter where you see these guys who, I mean, you have giant stars who will be playing. Like take Dave Chappelle. He does, I mean,
Hmm.
giant arenas.
Hmm.
And then, but he'll still go in and like drop in a set and do,
Yep.
do a set here or there. Or you see Chris Rock or someone go, drop in and try to work out some new stuff. And it is funny because it seems very inherent to comedy that you can't really do that as an actor. You can't just drop in and do a fucking monologue. Like no one would want to hear that. But what are some of the things that you do as an actor, whether it's routines or things to, obviously you're a big fitness guy, you're a boxer, you're a gym guy. What do you do to stay fit for, when you're not, on set?
For I haven't been watching a lot of TV and film since COVID, which is weird.
You're the opposite of everybody else.
Yeah, right. But I watch a lot of TV and film, and I do my own critiquing
Hmm.
of actors, and I'll see who keeps me in the storyline and who takes me out of the storyline. I'll watch certain things. I stay in acting classes. I work with the acting coach. He's still on the East Coast. Um, I'll just work on random scenes. I tried a bunch of different acting classes, different methods.
Well, you worked with
Uh,
Susan Batson as well, right? What was your experience? 'Cause
yeah,
I read that book. I read Truth like years ago. And
yeah,
obviously she worked with a lot of people.
yeah.
What did you take away from that? You worked with her
She's
directly?
directly.
Wow, that's amazing.
She's a beast. I don't know how old she was when I was taking her class. I was taking her class for like a little over half a year. And it was a class where we started at 6 and it got so packed. Sometimes we wouldn't get out of class till like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I am not lying. It was crazy. I was like, man. this is messing up my weeks. But she would be there with us, man, and she
But I was gonna
was
say,
had
was it one of those things that you were completely engaged the whole time,
yeah
or
the
yeah?
whole. What do you mean like completely engaged the whole time?
Like I mean, when you said it would run till 4 or 5 in the morning, is it something where you're like, oh man, wait till these guys wrap up, or were you like in it, learning from every
Yeah.
scene?
So yeah, I forget. I mix up methods in my head, but she everyone had to go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every class, almost everyone had to go up. So if we had 50 people in there, you're gonna be waiting for 50
Right,
people to go up on stage.
right,
That was it. But you had to be there for your fellow classmate.
sure.
And we kind of looked on it as disrespectful if you left, unless you had a valid reason.
Mm-hmm.
So most of us would stay there for everybody,
Well, I
because
also feel
you're giving you're giving so much of yourself, and we are a group trying to ascend the ladder of the acting world. Um, it's good to have that camaraderie and and be comfortable in class, and not people just dipping on you,
it
dipping
is
on you.
it is funny too because I felt like anytime that I was in class, when you're in it, obviously there's when you're in it doing the scene, there's obviously merit to that, and you're going through those reps. But then when you can detach, and if you see someone else, even especially if they're doing the same scene, maybe, or if
Hmm.
you're doing a different scene, to see it from
Hmm.
that third person and go
Hmm.
like, oh, because you're
Hmm.
really getting to see
Hmm.
this part, the camera angle, how things would see it. It's
Yeah.
much harder almost. I feel like I almost learned more watching other people's scene work that I could kind of steal from. Then like do obviously getting those reps and running the
Yeah.
lines and memorizing all the things were great, but
Yeah.
really feeling like, oh shit, maybe I won't do that. I'm definitely gonna steal that.
Yeah, that's why I watch a lot of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
Because I try to find what they do that makes me so interested.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'll watch any Denzel movie.
I tell you, that was the first thing when you said Denzel. I mean, I watched that guy. Listen to him read the phone book, watch him do nothing on just his eye work alone. That guy is a.
There's an intensity. It could be a shitty movie, and I'll watch it, but just because Denzel is so great,
And his
I'll
son's
watch.
amazing.
I haven't seen a lot of his son. I haven't
Oh
really
my
seen much of his son at all
god,
yet.
he's
Yeah,
like full. Kid's
I hear
good.
it's good.
Yeah, you got to check him out. But who else
Jeff,
are you watching?
Jeffrey Wright. I
Mm,
watch almost everything Jeffrey Wright's in. Dude's a beast. Quiet beast. Quiet beast. Oh my gosh. Those two. What's his name? This. Don Cheadle.
oh yeah, Don Cheadle's. His range is crazy, crazy. Because
Low key.
yeah, that's the thing. Like he doesn't. You think he's a comedy guy, and then
Hmm.
there's well, like on the surface, everyone knows Don Cheadle from more comedic things,
Hmm.
and then like even in like the ocean stuff, when he had he was
Yeah.
like popping that Cockney British accent, and then
Yeah. I was
you're
like,
just
okay, okay, okay.
you'll go anywhere
Watch
with that.
watch him in Devil in the Blue Dress. Him and Denzel. He's pulling a lot of Denzel light away. And Devil
That's
in the Blue Dress. I was like, ooh,
that's hard to do.
ooh, that's hard to do, but he was killing it. And a bunch of other actors, Chadwick Boseman. Oh
Oh
man,
man,
Black Panther.
it's
He crushed Black Panther. I was like, oh, this is his natural accent.
so
That
sad.
accent you? Yeah, man. That hit
What
me.
a
That hit me.
man, that hit everybody. It's so sad when the good people just get taken from this earth. And he just seemed like obviously had talent for days, but he also was just like you looked at him and when you'd hear him talk and you hear the stories and like the generosity and he
Yeah,
was one of those you're just like man.
and
So,
kept the circle tight, and no
yeah,
one leaked any info about him. Even as close as, unless everyone's like not being tight-lipped, no one knew.
yeah,
That's crazy.
super sad. So what was your first gig? Like what was the first time you were like, okay, I'm getting paid to act. This is pretty cool.
Uh, um, I'll qualify the first gig that helped put me on the map, um, and that was Greenleaf.
Okay.
Greenleaf, which shot in Atlanta, Georgia. I was on the second season and the third season. Um, recurring. My role was a recurring guy. I was Cherry Greenleaf's love interest. I played Jabari Johnson.
Mm.
Jabari Johnson, and it was amazing to work with the likes of Keith David, the likes of Lynn Whitfield,
Mm-hmm.
monsters, who are monsters in the game. Um, just I didn't do a lot of scenes with them, but I would be there and I'd see them and see them do this, especially Lynn Whitfield. I would see her do scenes, and there's this intensity about her that none of us had. That, from my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying no one's great in their own right, but there was just this intensity to Lynn Whitfield that I watched and that I would like to take with me. That seems like it's going to need some work, but but she was amazing. But doing that show, man, I didn't make a lot of money, man. I didn't make a lot of money. I had to fly my own self down there. I was
Wow.
kind of like I was considered in-state, an
Right.
in-state actor. I got a day rate, but it put me on a map, got me with a bigger, better agent, and the ball started rolling.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand that that is the shit you have to do is like work in state, try to make the hustle. If you have to pay to, to be able to go on screen, I don't think that's the other misnomer. People feel like they should be paying me to do this, or you're not worth anything at that point. And it's kind of like, if you know you can do it, and it's unfortunate because obviously everyone should be paid for their work and obviously respected for their work. But if you don't have the attitude that you would do that shit for free anyways,
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
you're in the wrong business. And like you
Yeah,
said, it got you a
yeah.
better agent. It kind of jump started everything for you. Did it feel different were you living in Atlanta or were you,
No, I flew down every time I had from New York. I flew down every time I had to film.
was it
They put
surreal?
me up in they put me up in a hotel and gave me
Right.
per diem per day, but the money I was making pretty much went to taxes, agent, and didn't really cover my flight until I got my other agent that
Mm,
was halfway through the second season. He got me better money, and that started to pay. But I took out a credit card for my flights for
damn.
food. Like, dude, like I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. Um, outside of this, I'm gonna do other work like bartending and stuff,
Hmm.
minimal. I'm just gonna make enough money to pay bills and everything, you know.
Did it feel weird going back to Atlanta as a working actor? Than when the time you spent there? Did it feel like, okay, this is different?
No, I tell you what felt weird. So I worked in events in New York, and when the episodes started coming out, people started recognizing me. So I'm like bartending a wedding or
And
something,
they're like,
and I'd be like,
like,
they would do something like this.
don't I, did we go to high school together? That's usually the one.
I know you. I know your face. I know your. Where do I know you from? And like all my friends who was working with me, they like, oh shit, here we go. And I just wanted to retreat away because I had in my mind, I had this perception that I'm better than what I'm doing, which was stupid at the time.
Yeah, it's hard,
Eventually I got over it,
dude.
but
It's
it's
hard to
just,
get out of your own way on that shit.
bruh. But it was they were all cool, man. They all wanted to take pictures. It was cool.
Did they
It
give you
was me in my
bigger
own head.
tips? Did you get bigger tips?
Yeah, I got better tips.
There you go.
Yeah, I got better tips.
It
Yeah, it
is
was
funny
cool.
getting the ego in check, and just it's hard to be thankful when you're just making, like, you're making money, you're getting paid to do something, but yet
Hmm.
you're like, no, 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 you should see me as this, and this should be my perception, and it's all in your
Yeah.
own damn head.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I learned quick though. It's like, man, this is amazing that people even know me. That was cool. Yeah.
So when did you make it to? So you said you only been in LA for 2 years.
2 years.
So then you must have literally got off the plane and you had a job, or you had a job before you got here, because you've been on the soap for how long now?
No, I didn't have a job before I got here. So
Oh,
I
I
came
think.
out here for my first, what do you call it, pilot season,
Hmm.
February of 2019. That was it, right? Yeah, February 2019. And I was here for 3 weeks. And my last week, I had an audition for Young and the Restless, and they had gave me a call back. And at the call back, they was at the end, they were like, "What are your plans for like the next week or two?" I was like, "I'm flying back to New York, flying back to New York next week." And it was like, "Okay, you mind holding off?" I
Mm.
was like, "Oh, okay, maybe they're interested, you know." And I think later that day, my agent was like, "They want you,
What
but
was that feeling?
you start filming next week."
That's such soap world. Yeah,
Start
you
filming
start
next week.
filming next week, and here's 20 pages to learn.
Yeah, but luckily I didn't have 20 pages. But started filming next week, and dude, all my stuff and everything was still in New York.
But you
So
must
I,
have felt amazing.
yeah, I slowly moved. I slowly moved here. Within that whole first year, I just slowly brought my things over, and then I finally did the bulk and had it driven by a moving company.
So did you ever, I mean, were you kind of like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'll audition for the soap just because it's, it's there, and or did you, was it one of those things that, because I know a lot of people who are either starting out acting or they just see people who are on soaps, they're like, oh man, this is like the acting is this or that. They make all sorts of critiques, not knowing really what the world is all about. So I wondered if you had
Yeah,
that kind of preconceived notion about it as well. And then when you obviously got into it, I have really good friends who've done soaps. One of my buddies, Eric Valdez, longtime soap actor, and he was telling me, man, he's like, it is brutal and it is a grind, and you're just burning through. You're not getting 15 takes to do everything. You're getting, a couple pages, which people don't understand. You may shoot one page of a film, one page a day in a feature film. How many pages do
we're shooting a whole episode in a
exactly?
day. We're
That's
shooting a whole episode in a day.
that's
Sometimes
insane.
two. Sometimes two. So
The insane work ethic, I think people don't understand.
this is let me see where I start. So and I didn't necessarily have a preconceived notion. I just thought I didn't necessarily not like soap operas, but for you think about your career path, right? Whatever people want in their careers, you like some people want fame, some people love the acting, some people want to be the best actors, whatever. I I genuinely want to be a great actor. And I kind of thought, is this a good road to take? You know what I mean? I didn't know if that was a good road to take. And I remember talking to my acting coach, like, what if they offer me this role? Should I take it? And will you become a working actor? And I was like, I was like, yeah. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you're right. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Isn't it
So,
funny? Would you, if
yeah.
someone offered you a role, will you take? Like, the fact that you even, and I know that I've been in the same position where I'd be like, I don't know if I take this. Like, what else am I? You're not working. You're not a working actor right now. What the? Why would you
and
say
and
no to work?
and when I get
Yeah,
on set, these cats are beasts. Everyone in that show can act.
yeah,
Everyone in that show. There's no like casual or actor. Everyone in that show can act. It's 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 the game is we don't have a week to rehearse anything. You're lucky if you can rehearse right before the scene. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So you're as an actor, you're constantly working on as an actor on a soap, you're constantly working on being in a conversation. You're constantly working on listening and reacting. Not no preconceived like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do.
Here's my motivation.
Yeah. But I think this is something that makes if anything, if you want to take from it, this can help be a piece in you becoming that great actor you want to be. You know what I mean? because you're constantly in a conversation, you're constantly listening, you're constantly reacting to things. You have to. There's no rehearse. I mean, we try to rehearse. Sometimes we get away with rehearsing. Sometimes we can't. You know, in COVID right now, you know, that complicates everything. But um, man, it's been an amazing journey, man. And I learned so much on soaps. And I tell people this all the time. Name some of your best, name some of the best actors and put them on a soap opera and see what they can do. Because they're used to rehearsing.
Mm-hmm.
They're used to taking 10,
10
15
takes.
shots.
Yeah,
They're used to
exactly.
saying, hey, hold on, A-list or whatever, we're going to do this until, nah, now we don't have that time. Let's go.
See, that's the thing. I think, and like you said, it makes you a beast, and it's like that. It's the. I feel like the soap is like the gym for an actor. Like that's the because you're
Oh,
just like
yes,
reps,
yes,
reps,
yes.
reps, and it's like okay, like and you gotta have a short memory. If shit's bad, you just gotta let it go, and if it's good, you gotta let it go. And you gotta keep moving. That was something I always told myself in the kitchen, like because it would happen so fast, and you're doing so many things. I would make a great plate and I'd be like, cool, that's great. And I'll make it 50 more times. It's not something you can just like stand there and go, man, oh, I fucking killed that line. It's going to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
awesome. It's like, okay, cool. You
yeah,
got another
yeah,
page to do. Let's go. So like,
yeah, yeah. I was just on set yesterday and doing some scenes. I'm like, I don't know how that scene was. All right, all right, we got to move on. You know what I mean? But that's just, I'm so critical of myself. I always think I can do better.
sure.
That's just me, and you know. But I think that's what helps push me. But it's man, it's been the best tool to get me, help make me a better actor, man. Like my listening, like my learning lines game on point.
Yeah.
I
I
learn
was going to
lines
say,
so
what are your
quickly now.
techniques? Yeah. What are your techniques now? Because that's always the most, I know for me, like when I first got into it, because I'm such a perfectionist and
Mhm.
I wanted everything to be like letter perfect. I would
Yeah,
drill like rote like lines, over and over and
yeah,
over. And I would get so
mhm,
anxious about, making sure that everything was word perfect. So what are some of the
yeah.
techniques that you employ for that?
Um, there's apps that you can put on your phone right now that like recite the other opposite lines to you. I don't typically do that. I just use my voice memo thing.
Hmm.
I think that's what it's called, and
Yep.
I'll just put the other lines on and leave a space for my lines. I'll say my lines in my mind and leave that space, and I'll just go with that, especially during COVID right now. And it's something good to help you listen as opposed to like trying to memorize lines from a sheet of paper. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah, that
Like
was
I'm
my thing.
listening.
I would take a block of it and I'd be like I would learn the first couple sentences and then I would move on. And then once I had those perfect and then I would like slowly build it out that way. So I'm always curious on like what other people's techniques for remembering different copy and things like cuz now I can
Yeah,
pick up a sheet.
I just try to do the listening thing. My thing is listening, and if I can do it with an actual person, we'll do it with an actual person. But if not, I'll listen.
Which is the most clutch thing because that's the part is like that's the thing you learn in any class is like active listening. Active it's like listen to
Hmm.
what don't just wait to speak. And I think that's
Yeah,
probably a good listen. That's probably a good lesson rather for
yeah,
everybody in
yeah,
just like human life.
yeah,
Listen to what the other person is fucking saying and then
yeah,
don't just
yeah.
wait to speak.
Yes, exactly. This is I'm listening to you and I'm engaged with you. This is active listening.
Right.
As I'm talking, my eyes are listening to you. My body language is listening to you. This is what you want to bring to the camera, you know. And then
For
there's
sure.
all other course kinds of things. If you character acting, diving deep into some other stuff, yes.
Yeah,
But
do you have so now I know that you had kind of a wide array of different techniques and fundamentals. Is there something that you is it more methody? Is it more is there something that you will always take with you, even though obviously different coaches kind of bring out different things? Is there something that you're like, okay, this thing works for me, and like I'm gonna keep that with me all the time?
um, I I I imagine I think I have a pretty good imagination, and I have a decent amount of experience in life for like the basic stuff, love interest, romance, heartbreak, cheater, you know, the basic stuff that I've been going out for and I've been getting. I have I have that in my past or some version of that. Um, when I dive into, I've dove into deeper characters like for audition purposes,
Mm-hmm.
where I do a lot of research. Like say, I not too long ago had a audition for a role for Muhammad Ali, even though I look nothing like him and he's like 2 inches taller. But
And way
um,
skinnier.
he was skinnier or I'm skinnier.
No, you're way bigger than Muhammad Ali.
Nah, he was two
Really?
something. Yeah,
Really?
I'm barely 200. He was like
Maybe you
what,
just
220?
maybe it's because you're shorter. You're just more jacked.
But he was but it was I did a lot, well, like the lines were actually from uh something he said in an interview.
Mm.
So I researched the interview, researched some fights, and like I'll add some method to that. You know what I mean? But I guess it depends on the roles. You know, depends on the roles. Depends on you know. If I'm going for an Oscar, we're going deep. Yeah,
It's good. Well, the method thing, especially if you're creating or you're kind of recreating somebody who was living, you kind of had to like tap into that
hmm
world and try to like
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
you can't become someone, but you really have to tap into
hmm
what they kind of brought to it. So that's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what do you
And
what do you bring?
I'm not even sure of all my methods. It might change. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. It's probably an evolution. That's why I
Yeah,
asked. I was curious of, certain coaches will say things to you that will stick with you forever, and
yeah,
then there's certain things that will kind of like come in and out. I
yeah.
remember one of the time I had this amazing acting coach who was a commercial acting coach named David Cady. Shout out to David Cady,
hmm
in New York, and I
David
remember when
Katie.
you ever work with that guy? He's fucking amazing. He's casting director, just brilliant, brilliant guy, but also does coaching.
Okay.
And he completely unlocked my brain when he told me, he was like, for auditions, he's like, that's your space. Like that's your time. Like and like getting, because you're so used to, and I've said this before, it's like you're so used to asking and waiting and like doing my thing and being like, was that okay? Was that enough? And he's like, no. He's like, your job is to show what you're going to look like doing that thing, and that's it. And then you do that shit and you walk out the door. But you
hmm
know that if you have an audition at 1:15, 1:15 is your time. You own that time for the next 10 minutes. That is your room. And I was just like,
Yeah,
oh, like that kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
blew my mind up.
There's this click that has to happen. I think most have to go through the process that uh, you don't get a chance to act a lot, especially when you're auditioning and you're looking for a job. Use that space. If you love it, have fun. Literally use it to have fun. Don't use it to try to book. Don't. You're not going to book every job, and most of the jobs are going to pass you by. And a lot of it doesn't have anything to do with you or your acting. It might not fit you might not look, it might not be the right height, be the right color, be the right size, there's so many things they want a face. Like I can't tell you how many things I got turned down because they wanted a face. You know what I mean? Um, it's just so much going against you already. If you can go in there, be genuine, and have fun, you might leave a mark on that casting director. I was watching an interview with JB Smooth, and he was talking about how he got Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Hmm.
how he read
So
those
funny.
lines, and he saw the character.
Hmm.
After he read those lines, so he went to the casting, to the audition as the character, not waiting to go into the room, but he went to the audition as the character, and he was so in it. I think he booked it right away. I think he did, and there's more to it. But some casting directors don't want you to be like, if you're a crazy, they don't want you to be acting crazy outside the audition room. So I don't know. You gotta find a balance, I guess. But he took a chance, at least. He took a chance, and he had fun, and he had fun on that show. So have fun, man. have fun. Yeah, it's gonna be fear. Yeah, you're gonna have butterflies, but at the end of the day, I don't know who originated this quote, but I kept it with me when I found out. I think I found out from Steve Martin. Be so good they can't ignore you. I'll tell another. I'll tell another story. Um,
One of my favorite quotes, by the way. It's something that I was told a long time ago. It literally, someone told me, it said, "Be so good, they can't ignore you," and it
yeah.
puts something in your head, and because it's not about obviously everyone wants to make money, and some people want to be famous, and you want to be seen, but like
Hmm.
if you're so fucking good, like, and
Hmm.
you keep being good,
Hmm.
eventually people go, "Oh shit, that guy always shows up. He's always
Always,
bringing it." Yeah,
always bring
I
it. There's
love that.
something to this guy. So I had an audition a couple years back for a short film, and it was it was funny. It was like a kind of like a comedy, and it was for it was the lead was this chick who was going on these dates to find her love interest, and I was auditioning for this guy who looked everything looked good about him, and then when she finally got into the bedroom and they were about to have sex, he had a what do you call that thing where you use the bathroom in that bag? What do you call
Oh
that?
shit, a colostomy bag.
Colostomy. He had a colostomy bag, and so he's having sex with, her, and the colostomy bag is smacking her. So I went in. I went into that audition with a balloon
Oh,
on my side, and did my audition. I felt like I did. I felt like I did what I needed to do, and I think I had a hold or a callback or however it went, and they ended up going with someone else, the producers. And I found out later through my brother's friend, a girl who did makeup on the set of that show. She texted me and she was like, "Hey, Sean, I was just talking to the director and found out they wanted you very bad and they fought for you, but the producers wanted a face. But she fought tooth and nail to have you. You were her favorite."
you won.
That's validation right
Yeah,
there. You know what I mean? I didn't get the job,
right.
but I know I'm doing something right. I'm doing something right. I love this craft and I'm doing something right. That's validation right there. It's
And
not going to happen to everyone. That somehow I knew somebody who was doing makeup on it.
mhm.
So
But I think people don't realize too that you doing that, who knows, down the road when the director says, "Oh shoot, I need a guy who, oh, this guy's gonna bring," like, that's the thing. That's why you
hey,
just got to keep doing good work and keep showing
keep
up.
doing good work. Don't I know a lot of actors who've been doing it for 10, 15 years and they just have a shitty attitude towards it. And I don't know, I get it. If I get it, I'd probably too. I would probably be too, but I don't know. Maybe it wasn't the time. Maybe there. I don't know. I'm not, let me not even go into that. But you can't. If you love this, please don't develop that shitty attitude. Don't
That's a
don't. The
good.
best the best thing you want to control the things you can control. I'm on Young and the Restless. I show up. I show up knowing my lines. I'm cordial. I speak to everybody. I have no problems with anybody. Um, and I'm easy to work with.
That's the clutch component that I don't think people understand is being. That's a lot of times, especially when there's like a margin of, are we going to hire this guy or this guy? It gets down to, do I want to spend 12 hours a day on set with this person? And if you have a reputation of bringing negativity and being a shithead, people aren't going to work with you. And that's the thing with the people who have the chip on their shoulder, like, why am I not getting this? Why? Because you bring that negativity with you everywhere. And everyone, all your fellow actors know that you're a negative person. And that,
Yeah,
unfortunately, like,
yeah.
that shit gets everywhere.
At least keep it to yourself. Try
I
try
keep
your
it,
best to keep it to yourself. Because we all go through things. Try your
sure, of
best to keep
course.
it. Like my agent did his research on Greenleaf before he took me on. He asked about me. What if I was an asshole on set? I wouldn't be here, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Control the things you can control. Be a good person. You know, we're all gonna make mistakes, but like do your best to be a good person on set because that translates. People ask. There's people watching you that you don't know who have something in mind. You might fit something for a role that they're casting for. Then they find out you're an asshole or you accost women on set
Mm.
or something. You know what I mean? You don't want that. You don't want
That is
you control the things you can control.
that is the amazing thing because I know that we get in, especially being in the entertainment world. There's this kind of scarcity mentality, and you're there for like you're on set and you think that everything is about that one moment, but you don't realize that one moment where you're on set begets so many other things. All that work is going to get you or not get you
Hmm.
work down the road, and
Yeah,
like just to
yeah.
be thankful and to be to be gracious is something that is in very short supply these days.
Dude, I'm thankful every day to be working right now. It's crazy out here right now.
Do you have like a gratitude practice, or do you have like a what do you do? I know that you're into boxing and you work out like a madman, but is there something that you do that you go like I've got to do this every day to keep sane, especially now?
Well, I follow a lot of people who are smarter than me. Follow a lot of podcasts, and David Goggins,
Yeah,
Jocko Willings, um,
both those
Rogan.
guys, man. If I'm down, I swear to God, I'll just put on a Jocko podcast, and I'm
Oh,
like, I'm gonna go
look,
for a
I
run or
said
do
his last name.
something.
Yes,
I'm,
yes. Yo, I'm not going. I'm not trying to be like him. I'm not
yeah,
trying to wake up with 3, 4 in the morning when you wake up. No,
four
not trying to
thirty.
do
Yeah.
that. But um, I try to take something from each of these guys. That I keep this in my mind. Fight till the wheels fall off.
Hmm.
Fight till the wheels fall off.
Yeah,
Ah,
mindset, man.
dude,
Goggins
yeah.
with that mindset.
Ah, man, that dude is man. Uh, man. I mean, I don't want to be in his shoes. I don't want to be that person, but I want to take from him. You know what I mean? I take from him. And I don't come from much, so I appreciate everything I have. You know what I mean? I when I was in New York, New York was the longest place I lived. I lived there for about 17 years. Didn't own a car there. I didn't get a car here until September, October. So I was here over a year without a car. I was just Ubering everywhere, and I biked a lot, which is fine with me. But it was me just being, careful, making sure, everything's in alignment, and I don't know, playing it safe. I could have got a car earlier, but I waited.
How does that feel though? Because what you said earlier is that, I mean, you could have been a statistic, right? Based on where
Hmm.
you came from,
Hmm.
single mom, single
Hmm.
black mom in the military,
Hmm.
3 boys.
Hmm.
What is it? How does that feel, especially now, to be a successful black man in America?
I'm still working on the success. Um, how does it feel? I don't know, man. Life is life. You know, everyone has their issues in life. I don't think I'm any special. I don't think I'm anything special. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm just I'm glad. I don't know if it's part of my personality, but I'm glad to be a fighter. Like the older you get, the more you realize, man, things ain't free in this world, and great things don't come easy. You know, I've got I know people in my life who keep talking about lottery tickets and stuff like that. I'm like, that's what your heads in your bets on. Okay,
Yeah.
then put some work in.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes was from Anthony Bourdain. He said, "Luck should not be part of your business plan." When you draw
No,
when you
no,
draw up a business plan, it's
no.
not how you get
If it
there.
if it comes around, whew.
Yeah,
But yeah, like when I got Young and the Restless, man, I gave it my all. I don't know if there's anything special about me, but I was like, you ain't gonna forget me.
So what was that like? What do you think that what did you do? Obviously, you didn't see anybody else, but what do you feel like you did differently in that audition that pushed you over the edge for yourself?
This is a mental cocky thing. I'm not not cocky for the audience members, but a mental cocky thing. When I go into an audition, and even when I see like a name, I'm like, you ain't got what I got. I'm like, I'm in that audition. I'm like, if I've done my research and my homework and I know my lines, I'm like, you ain't got what I got. The only way they're not gonna take me is if I don't fit this role, because I'm gonna bring the acting.
I love it.
I don't, and that's how I felt with Young and the Restless, and I was blessed to have one of the actresses who's on the show. She was my reader for my callback, and she gave me everything.
That's
I
awesome.
needed. You know how some actors
Just reading the lines. Yeah.
All right, let me just read the lines for them. She acted with me, gave me everything. I wanted to give her a hug after that.
That's huge. People don't realize, because like you said, how important the listening is. And if someone's saying, oh, I'm so sad that you did that, blah, 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 and you're like trying to like react to that or whatever, it's like,
yeah.
If someone's giving it to you, it's so much easier to give it back. Yeah, to react, because you're just reacting in that point.
It's just we're having a real conversation now.
Yeah.
Instead of me understanding, oh, you're a reader, you're just going to give me this, and I have to still bring it, you know.
So who do you look up to for, you said Jocko Willink, for acting discipline, is it something that, you know, you've just cultivated this thing, or is it who are the newest techniques that you're learning? You have a coach now, but what is something that you've learned in just like had that aha moment in the last year?
Oh, my aha moment was my first year of Young and the Restless. At the end of that first year, I was like, I'm finally getting it. And then COVID hit. I was like, I'm finally getting a little comfortable. COVID. But yeah, it's I'm always learning so much and so much about yourself. You're like, Brad Pitt said this thing. He said this thing about new actors, and I can't remember exactly how I said the quote. He said something to this degree. New actors have this thing where they want to make every line and scene Oscar worthy. When you're just having a conversation, you might have two lines and you're trying to make it Oscar worthy. Just be the barista.
Just be the barista. I think that should be. So
I mean, because I was like, when I was a new actor, I was in that mindset. I gotta bring this line, you know, rather than like, you know, of course you got to keep that bring this line. You don't want to, you know, get nervous and like stutter or mess up lines and whatnot. But it's way less complicated when you're doing a line or two. You know what I mean? The show is not about you. It's not about you. Just do your role, play your role. Like in basketball, if LeBron is bringing the ball down, play your role. Because he's the best player on the planet right now. Play your role. Oh, you need me to shoot? I'll shoot. You need me to set picks? I'll set picks. You know, whatever.
Well, I love that. I think that more people need to understand that life is not just about them. And that
we all think it. We all think it. We just got to tell ourselves, nah, it ain't just about me.
I think I need a reminder about that sometimes. So,
me too.
Guilty. So you play a doctor on TV, which is hilarious because, especially a doctor in a soap opera where there seems to be lots of people come back from the dead. There's amnesia that seems to happen in soap operas. What do you know about playing a doctor? Like, did you research what doctor, like all the nuances of what kind of doctor is Dr. Nate?
Surgeon. But he does all kinds of doctorish stuff. And currently, right now, um, it's already aired, but I had an issue with my hand to where I can't do surgery anymore.
Mm.
So we're going through this whole phase of not being able to do surgery. What can I do to, because surgery was my character's life's goal,
Mm.
you know. Um, his mother was a doctor, and that's where he got his love for being a doctor from. Um, one thing I did, I watched some Grey's Anatomy.
I was gonna say that was probably. I think they had that plot line in there too, with the hand that didn't work, or wasn't there a doctor that? I feel like there's a common theme of that too, and what the doctor gets the physicality taken away from them, and then they have to figure out how to do
Yeah,
surgery. Yeah,
yeah. I can't remember, but just the doctor lingo, like some of the words you got to say, man. Like, oh my God, I got to say this, and
all that Latin.
so you really got to work on it so you don't sound like an idiot when you're saying specific terms,
Right.
angioplasty, whatever.
You're like, it's an
What I say,
angioplasty.
angioplasty. I can't remember what that is, but like
That's a heart.
you're saying these words, you
That's a
got
heart. Angioplasty is a heart surgery. I know
yeah, is it
that.
heart surgery?
Yeah.
But
Come on, doctor.
yeah, you just I say so many words, they be coming in and out. But you just want to get down to where at least it seems like you know what you're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I was wondering if you're like walking around the house like spouting off doctor terms, or if you like how you get in that, because you don't want to sound like you've not. You want to sound like you've said that word 1,000 times and you say it on the regular, so it just
Yeah,
rolls off your tongue.
yeah. So like I remember stat is a word used meaning like fast,
Now,
hurry.
yeah.
I was like, how is that? So I watched some Grey's Anatomy, and I heard that word stat being used. I was like, oh, okay, this is how it's used. So I got a visual
Mm-hmm.
of, all right, this is what's happening. This is why they say stat. And because I had to use the word stat in one of my scenes. And so, yeah, man, just do your best to do your research because no one's holding your hand. No one's, hey, okay, we're gonna give you these lines and do this research. And here's some tutorials. No one's holding your hand. That's the one thing you need to remember, especially on a soap opera. You're blessed enough to get a contract on a soap opera. No one's holding your hand.
Yeah, there's not a medical supervisor going, actually, you didn't say that the right way. They're like, next scene, let's go.
I mean, they depending on the scene. Sometimes they'll have a medical supervisor on it.
Oh, really?
Depending on the scene.
Oh,
Not
really
every scene.
interesting.
Not
That's
every scene.
cool.
But most scenes you're not gonna have a medical supervisor on. So hopefully you better know what you're doing. You know.
So your character gets himself into some, it seems like you're always in some steamy, I know that's the very soap thing, but there's always some like salacious love scenes and things like that. And
Say it again. I missed the first part of that.
oh,
What
I
did you
was
say?
saying, you're a doctor, but it seems like, especially in the soap world, you get yourself into a lot of like salacious, steamy scenes, and
Oh yeah,
there's
yeah,
always those love story undercurrents.
yeah, yeah. My currently right now, hopefully everyone's caught up. Who watches soaps, but currently I'm dating. I I'm I I can say took. I guess I'm dating my cousin's girlfriend,
Mm.
and how we got there is they cheated, or she cheated on her boyfriend, which is my cousin, and now we're together.
Savage.
And it's and my only family in Genoa City is him and his sister. So
Awkward
currently,
Thanksgiving. This makes for an awkward Thanksgiving, I guess.
yeah, we had an awkward Thanksgiving actually. We definitely had an awkward Thanksgiving. Uh, the sister invited me over, and he didn't know to his place, and yeah, it's straight up awkward. Yeah, so we're going through that, and some new stuff is about to happen, which I won't speak on, but it's more drama, of course.
Stay tuned for sure. So
Yeah.
being on a soap comes with very, very, I want to put it in a nice way, intense fans who are who
Yeah.
have a
Hang on,
certain.
I lost you again.
Oh, sorry. I said being on a soap comes with having some very intense fans who have had.
Oh,
What's been your experience with that?
so so most of the people on this soap opera have been on for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and so the girl I'm dating, she's been in soaps for a while. This is she started on Young and the Restless about a month before I did. Um, but she was on another soap opera for like 6, 7 years.
Mm.
So they have a huge following already. Me, newbie. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me before I go there. She in real life, she's dating the guy who plays my cousin. In real
Okay.
life, they're a real couple. So like they're this soap opera couple that the soap fans love. So my character comes in, breaks up them on the show because they're a couple on the show as well. Breaks the couple up in the show, and I'm getting all kinds of hate. Dude, all kinds of hate. To where when I post stuff, like when I post stuff in my stories, they'd be like, "What do you think you're doing? Why you post?" Like I'll post a picture of me and the girl who plays Brittany Sarpy is the girl who plays Elena on the show, who my character Dr. Nate Hastings is dating. I'll post a photo of her and I, and I'll get this hate mail saying, "What do you think you're doing? What you trying to start something? No one likes you anyway." Like, yo, I'd be like, "Yo, these people, some of these people, most are great, but
Yeah, of
some of
course.
these people are a little too deep into it." I'm like, this is acting. I'm not this guy.
It,
Me and Brighton are not really cousins. The guy who plays my cousin, he's Devon.
it's a loyal fan base, but they're in, like you said, they're in it.
They're in it. They're in it, and they're wanting them to be back so badly, be back together so badly. I'm like, nah.
Keeps you on.
Dr. Nate is gonna keep them split up.
Oh,
I
dude.
love it though. It's funny, man. It's funny. Like, if anything, it adds to the show because they love to hate
Yeah.
Dr. Nate Hastings. They want to see him. They want to see Elena break up with him and get back with Devon. So
Is
it's
he a
good.
villain?
No, no,
No.
no. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. If he is, it could be a villain in some people's eyes, but you understand why. I think for the most part, you understand everything he's done. Nick came into Genoa City always helping people.
Mm.
People who have issues. I was almost like a therapist as well. And one slip up, he fell in love with the person he works with the most. That happens in real life.
Happens all. I was gonna say that's a story as old as time.
Hmm.
What's been your biggest flub on set? What's something that you just totally shit the bed on?
Biggest flub on set. I can't tell you. I don't know what
Well,
my
that's
biggest
good if
flub.
there's not one. I always ask like, what's your biggest like failure, or like something that you're just like, oh my god, that
I
was
don't know if
bad.
I don't know if I've been doing this long enough to have a really big flub.
Well, knock
But
on
when I
wood
was,
then.
yeah, it happened. I'll be happy when it happens. But um, when I work with uh, the guy who plays Victor Newman,
Mm.
he's been on the show. He's one of the ones who've been on the show the longest, and he's just hysterical to work with. He'll crack jokes the whole time. So they'll crack him and Mel, who plays his wife on the show. They'll crack jokes right before we tape. They're like cracking jokes. I'm laughing. Five, four, three, two, go, and they're back in character. And I'm like,
Uh,
I was like, hold on. I got to literally like, hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to do that. I was laughing. I'm sorry. I got to mentally get back to it.
yeah.
He's just crack, and I think he knows. He knows that I'll be laughing too. That's the biggest thing I think. There could be something that I'm not remembering right now.
Yeah. What's something that you learned about yourself during COVID?
I can easily be by myself.
Mm.
That is not hard for me. That's not hard. But the cool thing is I had family with me for the first few months with me. My brother and his fiance, they stayed with me mostly. But yeah, man, I have to like I'm a people person, but I can easily retreat
Mm.
and be fine by myself. I don't know if that's a Leo trait or whatnot, but um, yeah, man. I just knew there was certain things I had to do. Do your best to eat right. Um, you know, work out and have wine.
Fair enough. What's your most treasured possession?
Treasure possession. Treasure possession. Man, that's a hard one, bruh.
I always ask you. This is the same like 4 or 5 questions I ask everybody at the end of the interview. So it's like, and everyone always is like, man, because they don't want to say something that they don't want to like talk about something that's a tangible thing. And some people have like a spiritual answer. Just it's whatever comes to the top of your head.
Possession.
These are like the inside the actor studio question.
I know, right? Possession. Right now, I'll say pictures, memories, family and friends.
Hmm. Who
That's
are your
that.
heroes?
Heroes. Just in general.
Just in general.
My mom. Um,
I had a feeling that would be the first person you said.
yeah, I'm still to this day. I'm like, how does she do it? I would like kids, but like, how does she do it? Um,
Three boys too, man.
yeah. Acting world. Denzel. I've always loved his acting. I've always loved how he carried himself. I wish. This is one thing I wish. I wish I didn't need social media. I love that Denzel don't use this stuff. You don't really know much about his family. You don't know much about his friends. His life is his life, but you know him on the movie screen.
Mm.
I wish we could do that. Hopefully, one day I'll get to that point where I don't need to give this stuff anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it's
I'll do
hard.
I love podcasts, but
Right.
like just like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, constantly posting, and it's fun. It's fun to interact with fans, but I I try to keep it business.
Yeah. That's the thing with our is it generational? Because obviously Denzel and people like Daniel Day-Lewis,
Yes.
that's a slightly different generation where they didn't have social media. They were
Yeah.
able to kind of detach from an earlier, now it's part of the game. And it's like, if you don't have X amount of, followers and, agents and people and brands look at that
Yeah.
when they go, oh, do we want to
Yeah.
do a deal with you? It's not like, oh, is he great? Does he
Yeah.
do really good things? Is he doing good work? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
what's his following? Well, who's on his TikTok? And it's like all of this stuff that it's like, it's unfortunately become a necessary evil, but I completely understand. Like, I wish you could just be great and do
Yeah.
your work, but
The cool thing is you can build your own following if you're active enough. But like I think Issa Rae, I think YouTube. She made her show on YouTube and she had built a massive following. And then HBO picked her up and started her show.
yeah, that's the thing about accessibility is that you can literally, like what I'm doing right now, like I created this podcast out of nothing just because I was like, you know what? I know so many interesting people and I want to share their stories of success and
Hmm.
amazing things they're doing. I wouldn't have been able to do this 15 years ago. I would have been like, oh, I
Yeah.
have to call this person and have this this production people bring in. I don't know how to
Yep.
do. It's like no,
Yep.
dude. You can create. So it's kind of like it's great that everyone can do it, but it's also there's a lot of shit out there. but but if you can, stay with it and create good stuff, like you said, the work ethic will eventually pay off for you.
Yeah. 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 There's a couple other people. Martin Luther King. What he did rings true today. how political factions and not everyone, certain people becoming extreme. And I posted a quote yesterday, pretty much, don't become the monster you're fighting.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize they're becoming that exact monster they're trying to fight.
That
They're
is the
becoming,
irony. I didn't want to like dip too much into politics because I know that
stay away from that stuff.
there's a whole persona and everything, so I want to stay away from that. But it is true. Like there's the people who are so virtuous on one side who think they're being so great are becoming the thing that they said they weren't going to be. So I love that quote. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great a great way to end it. And where can everyone find you?
Instagram, Sean Dominic Official, SEAN, Sean Dominic Official. Twitter, I think it's Sean Dominic. You can find me. I got blue check marks now. Yay!
Yeah,
Uh,
you're official.
I just recently got the Twitter blue check. So, but yeah, Sean Dominic Official. Facebook, Sean Dominic, I think as well. There's some
And
form of Sean Dominic. You'll find me.
and we can find you on YNR on what days? What
Young and
time
the
of day?
Restless. Greenleaf is on Netflix. Young and the Restless. I'm sorry, I'm lost with the times. It's somewhere around noonish or 1, somewhere around that time. Maybe even 11, because this is West Coast. I'm so used to the East Coast time.
Yeah, I feel you. I love it, brother. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to see, dude. You're only just scratching the surface. It's gonna be an amazing ride, and I'm glad for you to share your time with me. And I can't wait to see the next thing.
Thank you very much, brother. Good
All right, brother.
times.
I'll talk to you later.